We need 60% of 13. So that is, we need 8 folks.
Okay. Yeah, 1, 2.
We have 9 on the call right now, so we do have a quorum.
All right, great. We will get going then. Share my screen. Everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
And we're just going to go down the line. Doesn't look like Kent is here today, so we're going to skip that one. See if he pops in a little bit later. Corey is also not here, so we're going to skip that one. James, I can't tell if that's you or if that's a picture, or are you just really still? You there, James?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
No, I'm not that still and focused. Yeah, I think the one that I'm doing is just do we delete the part about FIFRA registration as a pesticide for pH adjusting chemicals, and yeah, I think that's a real simple and easy one. I mean, it needs to be a fungicide, rodenticide, you know, something that's killing things, and you know, typically acids and bases aren't doing that. So I think this is kind of an editorial one. But if others have comments, please comment.
I agree.
I agree.
Agreed.
Dewey, would this be an editorial or would this be something we can just take care of here?
Sorry, I'm multitasking at a conference. Yeah, that's something that probably would not be an editorial.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so then we'll go ahead and does anybody have any additional comments, questions before we vote? All right. And how did we do this last time, Sarah? It's been a minute since I voted. Or Joe or James, how do we do this?
We can just do all in favor, say aye, opposed, say no. If there's some opposed, then we can kind of count those up.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right. That was an easy one. So James, you'll take care of that.
Yep.
One. Very good. Go ahead and close that. Parents is not on either. James, you got lucky. Next one.
Okay. I hadn't seen that I was assigned this one, so let's look at it together. So when I log on, I'm not seeing like assignments. I only got the spreadsheet you sent out a few weeks ago. So I'm not sure if I'm looking in the right place or if other people may be having similar issues. You sent out a spreadsheet that had some assigned, but as I log on, I don't actually see who these are assigned to. I mean, it's very clear on your screen, but I don't have this screen, I guess.
Okay. And I don't know that this was sent to the TSCs yet. Dewey, do you know if this one 46151 that was sent to the TSCs yet?
I'm unsure.
Okay.
I thought it had, but I have to go back and look at my notes to make sure.
So this one is to reduce the underwater lighting requirement from 8 lumens per square foot to 4 lumens, submitted by Kent. Says codes have required a minimum of 0.5 watt per square foot of water surface for underwater lighting. A lot of technical stuff. And saying at 8 lumens per square foot, the requirement more than doubles the amount of light and number of fixtures required in a pool.
Yeah, it sounds like this one might require a little bit of research to see what, where that came from, and if there's annex information and things like that. I'm not very familiar with lighting, so I'll defer to anybody that is. If I mean, is this just something that was wrong in the 4th edition that was egregiously too high for no reason? I mean, most of the time we're trying to raise the bar and make things better and safer. So this seems like, cutting the amount of lighting in half would be a pretty drastic change.
Yeah. Does anybody have any background info on this? I'm not super familiar with lighting. I have to look it up every time.
In Fairfax County Health Department, I do the plan review, and we require 1 watt per square foot, and that is our code.
And that sounds like what the MAC is currently without this.
Right. All right, then we will make sure this one gets to a TSC and get some more info on it. Okay. Well, we were able to close one today. Dewey, without the facilitator here, can we, should we just move on, or can we look at any of these? Tom, you have a question? Tom, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry, I thought I needed somebody to do that for me. First of all, Dewey, I had a question for Dewey. We made, we being the CYA group a couple of years ago, made a recommendation that submitters of CRs could attend and defend their CRs. What is your rule at this point for that? Or Nicholas, what do you understand is the procedure for a submitter to attend and defend their CR?
Okay, so on submitters defending, typically it's going to be upon request. So if we wind up with a particular interesting CR and the TRC opts to have the submitter present on that and be available for questions, then that will be the process. I thought we had that defined in our steps. I'll have to go back and look and double check and see if that was somehow omitted.
Okay.
But that will be the process. We don't automatically set up for defense. If that makes any sense.
Understand. I'll go back and look at what's written.
So
Go ahead.
I'm glad that he brought that up, Tom, because I'm looking at your email in reply back to my email concerning last time the review committee met on 6.6.3.1-0002, and it was about the chemical storage and how we said we concluded as a team last time that we are going to allow only the first half of your request to be included in the imminent health, but not to include the sign part of it. And then you replied back, and I think your email is very detailed, and it has good information. And so I was having the same question as yours as to, since Tom, you replied back and saying, I would like to modify the CR to include now specifically the word NFPA sign on chemical for chemical storage door, because this is critical for the fire department to understand what kind of PPE they should be wearing. Otherwise, it will be imminent health hazard for anybody who interested without having this warning. And so, so I was kind of wondering how our team handles if Tom wants to modify the CR request.
So let me just recap, right? So if as a TRC, the decision is that a modification is desired to that change request, then what will happen is the facilitator will then go back to that submitter to discuss the incorporation and changes of that language. If the submitter is not agreeable to the change, then the TRC would need to come back and basically rediscuss and determine if it's an important enough thing for the TRC to overrule without consent of the submitter. That is a possibility, but as I said before, that needs to really be a nuclear option for extreme circumstances where a CR is very protective of public health. However, this isn't something that's used for every CR or even commonly. This is probably maybe 2% of all CRs would fall into that category historically.
Okay, so for this case, we have made a decision last time we met, and then the comment was provided to the submitter, Tom, actually, and he says, he came back with saying, okay, I'm going to resubmit, modify the CR request. Then do we say he's allowed to do that?
Yes, he can. Sorry, I'm in the same room with Sarah. We're at a conference. So we have dueling computers and reverberation and all that fun stuff. So yeah, then the submitter can go back and modify that. Now, any modifications that would essentially bring it back to the TRC for discussion again, just to make sure that those changes are in line with TRC recommendations. What we don't want to do is have the submitter modify the CR and then turn back around and blanket approve it without reevaluating that CR.
Mhm. So Dewey, again, that, clarify, when I reply to the TRC, do I just say, yes, I accept your change or not? Or can I, and in this case, I've said, well, I disagree with your decision. Here's my kind of compromise solution. Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the appropriate place for that would be with the facilitator level discussion.
Mhm.
That'd be the appropriate place for it.
So Tom, if you've sent that to Grace, if you would forward that on to me, I can get it into the schedule to discuss at the next meeting or.
I will do that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder for all, as a general point of order, Zoom is difficult, right? Because unless we're doing a webinar, we can't really control inputs, right? But individuals are able to observe, but they are not necessarily able to provide input. The process for that would be at the facilitator level, where, hey, we want to bring in this individual to discuss their CR. That will be at the facilitator level to Miklos, Sarah, and the team, where that decision will be made to bring them in. And then that will be scheduled.
Okay.
Yep, not a big deal today, Tom. But just for everybody in the future, the TRC discussions are only for the TRC unless there's an invite.
Go ahead, Tom.
Also, I listened to your last meeting, and Levi was supposed to get back to me with comments on 5.9-0001, and as I understood the meeting, and he did not do that yet.
Okay, I'll reach out to Levi and see where he's at with that.
Thank you.
Yep.
So as we're on this topic here, let me make sure that I'm clear on things. It's traditionally not that somebody can come and defend a CR as they can come and answer questions that we have on it. Is that what we're saying, or is it changed?
No, that would be correct, James. That would be correct. It's more of answer Q&A. So yeah, defend is kind of an incorrect word. I guess the better answer for that, the more accurate answer is make themselves available to answer questions by the TRC and or provide a presentation, an explanation of that submitted change request. So for example, a little bit later on, when we bring in surf venues and swimming lagoons as a change request, we will bring in those submitters to present on those particular change requests and then be available for Q&A.
Is that at our discretion, or is that at their discretion, or who controls?
Your discretion. Your discretion. Yeah, so the TRC would make that decision.
Okay.
So for example, if we're reviewing, this complex CR to create brand new guidelines for hot springs, for example, right? And the TRC says, you know what? We need someone in to explain this to us. That will be the trigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing, I thought that the public was available to attend these meetings, just not participate. Is that still?
That is correct.
Okay.
Some of the challenges with Zoom is that unless we do a specific webinar link, which is a different creature, like the general web meetings that we can set up, anyone with that link can have access. So that's where we have to screen those attending and force mute, if need be, kick people out of the rooms, whatever we need to do to ensure that the public is just observing and not interacting.
Yeah, thanks.
I think it's important that if we do bring somebody in to do a presentation on something, that we reiterate the comment process for the public and anybody else that's watching it and for us, so that it's not a one-sided presentation where there might be some disputable information that's put forward. I think we definitely need a rebuttal opportunity, but I don't want this to turn into 50 presentations by everybody who has a difference of opinion. So I think we limit that presentation to the submitter, and everything else is handled through the comments section of the website. And then the facilitator has the responsibility to go through those comments and circle back to whoever the commenter is and get their perspective. And then that is what we can discuss on our call, right? So we can.
Absolutely, and that is certainly the intent.
Yep.
Yep. What will be helpful for everyone is to go to the CMAHC website and go to the understand the process link. So from a TRC standpoint, especially those that have been here for more than their one round, right? Joe, Miklos, James, Kent, right? You're on that list too, Kevin. Go to the understand the process link and see and double check us, right? Because we did a massive update to that section. Double check us, make sure we got everything accounted for, and some of these nuances like TRC discretion to have presenters attend for Q&A, right? Make sure that's there. And if it's not, shoot me an email and we'll get that changed. We had to do a massive amount of work on the website as we moved into this CR request process, as we updated, fine-tuned some things, and some things may have gotten lost in translation.
Okay. I want to remind everybody, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, but we want this to be an open process. And so what we've done is we advertise when we're discussing certain CRs. And so because of that, I'm hesitant to like move on beyond what we've said we were going to discuss today. But also because of that, if you are the facilitator for that CR, and you're supposed to be discussing a CR today, make sure you can either be there or you talk to me and we can either get it moved, or me, Sarah, or somebody can facilitate that discussion in your stead. Just for instance, today, we were only able to get to 1 out of 5 CRs. Not a big deal right now, but as we get more CRs sent in, if that sort of thing continues, we're going to get backed up pretty quick. So I just want to make sure, communicate with me and Sarah. We're more than welcome to, or we're more than happy to facilitate on your behalf if you can't make it, but I just don't want, I want to make sure we keep things rolling and, get through these.
I have one more question that's not really on this theme, but the approach seems to be that we're going to take these CRs one at a time and kind of make a decision and move on. But in the past, especially when we were talking about kind of certain controversial topics, there would be 3 or 4 or 5 competing CRs for the same section. And I'm just curious as to, in the past, we kind of had all the CRs. We knew that there were 5 proposed changes for this particular section, and we could, vote, decide, compare, and contrast. Is that feature gone, or are we going to have to go back and say, oh, well, Tom, we took your advice on this, but then somebody else had a better idea. So,
Yeah, we've changed to a different model where as they're coming in, we're discussing them. So, yeah, there might be some of those, James, where we have to go back and maybe have another discussion about a decision that was already made.
Okay.
Not sure how much of an issue it's going to be at this point. It's the first time we've done it, so we don't really know. Yeah. Now, in the past, we also had, how many do we have in the last go around? 300 some odd.
Last go around, we had 531 CRs.
500 something. So, it's a little bit different. We've capped the amount of, CRs that an individual person can, submit. So we've also taken out any editorial CRs, which also lowers the number of CRs that our group has to take a look at. So we're trying to make the process a bit more fluid. But I get your point, James, that may be something that we need to kind of address in the future, but we'll see how it goes with this round. And, if it becomes an issue, then we'll kind of have that discussion from there.
It was kind of a trade-off, right? Because for the 3rd edition, the 4th edition, and I believe the 2nd edition, we'd wind up with 3 and 4 hour TRC meetings. So that was good on one hand because everything was submitted and we can cross-reference and not have to revisit necessarily. But it was bad because from a volunteer standpoint, we were having 3 and 4 hour TRC meetings and sometimes longer. And Joe, I know you remember those, Miklos, you do, and James, you do. So that's kind of the trade-off for that. It makes the process a little bit easier, sometimes a lot slower, with minimal things to discuss, but we don't have those marathon sessions. It's easier to carve out an hour than it is 4.
And then this way also, if we do need to have any marathon sessions, it'll be in the fall when things hopefully slow down slightly.
For some people.
For some people, yeah, it hasn't really proved true lately, but yeah. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
So next meeting, we are slated to discuss. Sarah, you've got one on there, and then there'll be a few others. The ones that we weren't able to discuss today might move to that next meeting. Tom, perhaps the ones that were sent back to you, we might be able to put on the docket to discuss. So what I'm trying to do is load up, 5 to 7 or so CRs at a time. If we get to all of them, awesome. If we don't, that's fine too. But we worked it out that if we do 3 to 4 in a meeting, we should be good. But I just want to make sure we're staying on track. So I'll update that between today and tomorrow, get that out to everybody, make sure that gets advertised, which CRs we're going to be discussing next time. So just kind of pay attention for those emails. If you are slated to discuss those CRs on the next meeting, make sure you're able to be there. If you're not able to be there, let me know, not a problem. I'll just either switch the facilitator or switch it to another date, or one of us can take it for you. Not a problem. All right.
Just some quick numbers for everyone. As of right now, we're sitting with approximately 20 CRs that have been submitted. Of those 20 CRs, the editorial review board, which is myself, Miklos, Sarah, a CDC rep, and a CMAHC board member rep, have determined that 6 of those are true editorial to be fast-tracked to the CDC for approval. So right now, we only have 14 active CRs, of which we've already finished discussions on 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't have a whole lot right now, but I am anticipating a bunch starting to come in. I've talked
and there might be a few that come in that maybe necessitate the entire meeting.
Yeah.
So I also want to be cognizant of that. So within the next couple of meetings, if we can get through the CRs that we have to still close out, I would love to be able to do that so that we have a clean slate for anything new that comes in. We do have some ad hoc committees that will be submitting their CRs here within the next few weeks, for sure. So we'll definitely have some more things on the docket.
Yeah.
And I've been warned by several people. I'm here at the NEHA conference with Dewey and Sarah, and I've been warned by several people that more are coming from them too. So
Something to look forward to, I guess.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Could I request that somebody send me directions on how to get to this screen that's being shared right now?
Yeah, James, I'll send it to you.
I missed some of the earlier meetings because I was traveling and that stuff might have been covered and I just missed it, so I apologize.
No problem. Yep, I'll send it over to you.
Can you send that to me too, Miklos? This is
I'm
Terry
just
Street.
yep, no problem. I'm just gonna resend it to everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No
Hey,
problem.
Dewey,
Yo,
can you check with the TSC on the change requests that I'm facilitating? I spoke with Keith, who's on my team, who's part of that TSC. It says that it had been sent to them, but he has not seen it. Can you just confirm that they have it? I haven't seen a report or anything from them, and it was submitted ahead of time. It says it was sent to them, but he said he has not seen it, and it had not come up on any of the gatherings that they've had. It may just be that it's not due till the 13th, but if they can get that, just confirm they have that one. That was one of the earlier ones that came in.
what number is that?
63312-001.
Which
I believe it was the Lifeguard and Bather Supervision Committee.
okay.
Yeah, that one is, so we have an ad hoc committee
Yeah.
that's dealing with lifeguarding and bather supervision, composed of individuals not necessarily on the TSC. So we decided that that committee would address any lifeguarding related CRs.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, and they are starting some discussions. So everyone knows they're starting some discussions on lifeguarding approach, et cetera, that depending on the TRC view may make this a moot point or not. All right. So that was kind of on hold until we get more information back from that committee.
So as the facilitator, should I reach out to that group to get some feedback from them, or will they reach out to me to have a dialogue on that? I just want to make sure I'm ready for when I have to. present.
I'll like as intermediary on that one. Yeah. So
Okay.
probably look for something like September on that, Joe.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm slated for September 13th, which I need to change anyways because I have a conflict, but
Yeah.
I can do it either the meeting before or the meeting after. But if we're waiting on that group, then it may have to be the weekend after, like maybe move
Yeah.
it to the 27th.
Let's just set it to the 27th now, Joe.
Perfect.
Done.
Yep. I may make the 13th call, but as of right now, it's probably not going to make that one.
No worries. That'll give us plenty of time to get the ad hoc to discuss it and get any information back. And
Well, that makes sense though, then.
Yeah.
So thanks for that clarification.
And full disclosure, the ad hoc is considering one particular approach
Yep.
to where the TRC would have to decide, it would be a conflict to review that CR, right? But if they go with that approach, then it's either that approach or consider the CR, right? So
Yep.
if they recommend a particular approach and the CRC agrees with it, that would automatically cancel out or recommend a no vote on this particular
Okay.
CR.
Gotcha.
So yeah, big stuff coming out of there.
Yep.
So probably those CRs will start rolling in probably in August, maybe a little bit before.
Perfect.
This is August. Next few weeks, they'll start rolling in.
all right, y'all. I really appreciate your time. Any other questions, needs?
I think I'm good.
All right. Thank you all for your time. I want to say special thank you to Sarah for covering for me last meeting. I threw her into the lion's den, not realizing that this was her first time on the TRC committee. So thank you, Sarah. Great job.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, everyone have a great week. We'll see y'all soon. Reach out if there's any questions or issues with anything. And look for some emails here in the next couple of days.
Sounds good.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.